saying once Biden becomes elected, this is going to become business as usual. We're going to return right back to that Fabian socialism and corporate elitist capitalism, globalist elitist capitalism in which you're talking about. And he's only going to significantly advance that drastically. And all the folks who've always made money and always benefited from this type of system, including Trump himself in many aspects and ways, and populist groups and organizations arising across the United States. We're already seeing a rise in militias right now as I speak.
Threat, counter threat, because threats don't mean shit to us. Y'all been threatening us since Birmingham. I ain't seen shit. When it's July the 4th, and all you scary ass Negroes that pass that shit around, look at what the fuck you did. You made blacks come out. I don't see no white militia. Look to the boogie boys, the 3%ers, and all the rest of you scared ass rednecks. We here. Where the fuck you at? We in your house. Let's go. NFAC, motherfucker.
Leftist organizations basically rising up like the Black Panthers, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see some rise up of the right-wing aspects as well to really defend and protect their neighborhoods as well. But I don't know how long America can survive moving at this rate, I should say. We're already seeing all types of rebellions now in terms of different things happening, in terms of a big cultural impact, a cultural aspect with police brutality. And once Biden is elected, we're not only going to see these types of things continue because, like we all know, there's Democratic mayors more so in power than Republican mayors all across the country where lots of these things happen and occur. And they're controlled by lots of Democratic elitist judges and things of that nature, and these things still happen. So once Biden returns back to power, he's only going to appoint more people like that and these type of politicians that are going to keep this crony capitalistic system going. America is going to be in for quite anarchy and a civil war-ish type of scenery, I would suspect.
If he's elected, I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of that know what's going on. I don't think, and I think based on his VP pick, we might see Biden resign if the VP pick is of the quality of person that would be more like Obama or even more extreme.
That's all they're doing.
Force.
That's all they're doing. They're trying to craft a VP candidate that's going to be like an Obama. And Black Lives Matter is successfully doing that, like I keep saying, just basically in essence wanting some type of black person to be the VP, no matter if that person has substance of any kind. And the Democratic establishment is saying, fuck it, just put whoever we want in charge is gonna basically mirror Obama best to the fullest, I guess you could say. And they feel like Kamala is that person. She's just that person. She was great friends with the Obamas back in the 90s when she was a tough on crime type of district attorney to begin with, putting innocent black people in jail, literally putting innocent black people in jail, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But this is the person who they're about to have as the vice president and then potentially the president, because I mean, Biden has said it before, he could potentially be in a situation to where he becomes the president and then he basically hands the baton off to someone younger and a person of color. So if he starts using that type of language again, it's going to be the perfect encapsulation of the cultural wars that we're seeing right now in the United States. And they're going to believe him. They're going to really believe him, and they're going to vote for him at high magnitudes and high rates because they're just that much hatred of Trump. It's just that type of election year. There's just no other way to put it. And like I said, it's probably going to look like 92 basically in many aspects, except Texas and Arizona is really going to turn. It's going to probably look like that in many aspects.
So let me go back to something real quick, and that is the idea that I think Obama represented, that we don't need the American flag anymore. It's kind of in the way of the new globalist program, right? And what I would suggest is, we started with individual sovereignty, that if you can't have a strong national sovereignty, you can't enforce a individual sovereignty, or you can't let people have it. Because in a socialist program or in a Marxist program, everybody has to fit in the design of the program, whether it's a command economy or some type of crony capitalism or fascist, where the government, picks the winners and losers. Now, if I think that's the road that Obama put us on, was that globalist vision, right? That is the road that Biden is promising to continue. Now, if Kamala Harris becomes the VP, that is the road that she will forcefully use. She will force people into it. Like, force meaning you do not have constitutional rights. You are an enemy of the state if you do not fall in line.
She's one of the biggest proponents.
That is the kind of future we're at now.
Basically, because
let me say one more thing on that.
Mm-hmm.
The socialist vision, and this is an old communist thing, and it's what leaders do. They stir up certain populations so that militias grow in power. They defund the police. They want to keep people out of jail because it's a way to keep the law-abiding citizens in a constant state of fear. Because they can use those groups, leaders like Harris or Obama can use those groups to suppress any type of rebellion in their mind. And in our mind, we're just saying, hey, we want freedom of speech, we want to be left alone, we want to have our constitutional rights. And they're saying, no, you can't have the constitutional rights, and we will gin up as much hatred and as much conflict as we can among certain groups so that you keep your stupid voice down, okay? Because we'll empower these even more, okay? And that's a long-standing trick that different socialists have used over the last 100 years or 150 years. And I do believe that that's a part of this.
That's a major part of this. The whole entire democratic machine, that's exactly what they're doing, programming the minds of everyday people to feel as if that they are really going to need them because they're the only aspect left to truly hold a just society. But at the same time, these same people are co-opted by the cultural movements that are among us. Kamala Harris, she's someone who is, how can I put this, a proponent of Black Lives Matter and some of these cultural movements just trying to seize on the opportunities and the moments.
Imagine President Trump goes up and says, hey, we're under attack and everybody needs to pick up their weapons and, fight for whatever, okay? Imagine he did that, which he never has, okay? Imagine he did that, what kind of response there would be. So the reason I bring that up is because in a very simple way, if you look at it like that, if you have factions that you supported or that you support that are okay with, kind of violence or property destruction or whatever, or carrying weapons to intimidate certain people or certain neighborhoods, if you back them, okay, then you can use them. They'll listen to you. They'll be like, yeah, we're the same team. So now if you want something done as a politician, you just hit that trigger and you say, okay, go here. This is the real problem. Go there. We're not going to prosecute you. This is a matter of justice. Go over there and do what you want. This is about justice. This is about race. This is about whatever, okay? But that's really kind of, it seems like, okay, some people in the media are treating us. And that's kind of what it's turned into, and that's how they use it. Now, Trump could go and say, hey, you have the Second Amendment, and go ahead and fight for your rights and your businesses, and go stand in front of your stores and and do what you need to do because you have property rights in the Second Amendment. He hasn't done that, okay? Because we don't want that type of hell on earth or in this country. But it seems like that conjunction or that relationship between certain leaders and certain groups, that they're okay with doing that. They're okay with saying, go over here and destroy, go over here and do what you need, because it serves their interests as politicians. And it makes you very powerful to be able to have people to listen to you and to, kind of basically, say, go ahead, do what you want. And that's a powerful thing. People are willing to listen to any politician and use weapons to do whatever the hell they want.
And that's why I say lots of cities and lots of places are going to be open to the opportunities of different chops and chases in a left or a right wing sense, because yes, it's like what you're saying. Lots of these establishment political figures, they're going to just seize on the opportunities on the moments, such as the Seattle mayor did. Lots of people say, well, how did that happen, or why did it go on for so long? She let them do it because she wanted them to do it. And at the same time, she was for some of the things that they were saying, so she wanted to let them express themselves. When it does happen, you're going to start to see the Civil War-ish type of anarchy start to build within our society. Biden is elected, and as he gets sworn in under a dementia state, this is some of the things you're going to start to see. And then as he returns America back to business as usual.
That's if they win, and that's if no other crazy stuff happens between now and then. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't take much for the president to start telling his people to say, hey, look, we're under attack, and it is a civil war. And I mean, just imagine if he hasn't said any of that stuff. He hasn't. Some people have suggested it in the media, and some people, right-wing commentators have suggested that we're in a kind of a cultural civil war, a political civil war. But we've never talked about, hey, he's never tweeted or gone up and said, hey, everybody buy all the weapons you can, get all the ammo you can.
If Trump loses, he's definitely going to start saying all that. He's definitely going to start saying, I can definitely see that on election night.
It's true. And he doesn't say it. I mean, then he'd be like, then he would be kind of, then his own followers would be like, wait, well, what were we backing this whole time? I don't want to speculate, and that's not a place we want to be in our country. But if it was true, if there was a plan and he knew about it for Americans' rights to be taken over and the Constitution to be thrown out and the flag to be torn down, and it was that's the job of a president, and he'd still be president until January. To protect, it's the vow he takes, to protect from foreign and domestic threats. That's exactly what you're supposed to do as a president. So that's a huge problem if that, our speculations about what Biden and Kamala would do, or whoever it was, and if we still has a president who actually believes that this is a movement that is going to take down the country that he's supposed to defend.